really, really honored to do this. I just wanted you to know this.
Well, thank you. It's fun. It's great to be here. It's great to have a podcast. I know it opens up to another audience. So thank you for the invitation.
Everybody knows you, but let's say if 0.01% people don't know you,
Okay.
then what about your childhood you would tell them, which has shaped you the person who you are today?
I think the biggest thing about my childhood that shaped me was I came from a family that was multicultural, multi-religions, multi-food, most important, I guess. And that's it's a big benefit. You don't realize it when you're a kid, it's life, it's how it is. But I think just appreciation for different cultures at a young age, not even realizing it, I think was really beneficial and set me up for success, I would say, just because I feel like I can relate to a lot of different people, or at least to have the patience to listen for a moment.
At what point in your childhood you felt like this is a strength? Like being multicultural is a strength?
Oh gosh, I don't think I realized it for a long time, for a while. Like it was a little bit, I think more so, we were different. We are a different family, and we all knew that. But I didn't know if it was a strength until later on in life, where just easy to deal with people. I think.
What do you mean by different?
Well, we were the only Indian family in our town, or partially Indian family. So I think we stuck out pretty much. My sister and I had long hair, of course, long Indian hair while we were growing up. We were also swimmers. And so we were the type that got up in the morning and swam before school, coming into school with wet hair. And so we were just different in regards to other people in the town, I think. People knew who we were then too, the Pandyas. Yep.
Did you at any point feel like that was maybe a weakness that maybe put you in a different light than other people?
Oh, sure. Like as a kid, of course, when you're like a kid, or more so like when you're an early teen, when you don't blend in with everybody else and you're a little bit different, of course, that's a little bit uncomfortable. But also at the same time, I think, confident, secure in myself that I thought the more important thing was athletics and academics, and I didn't really bother me that much.
Were you insecure at any point?
Absolutely, my whole life. I think everybody is. They just have to sort of push through it, and I think that's part of life is just like pushing through boundaries and things that make you feel a little uncomfortable, and that's where you can achieve more. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about your biggest insecurity.
Gosh, my biggest. I don't know about my biggest. I mean, just my whole job from being, like first of all, as an athlete, you get on the starting blocks, you're nervous, right? So that's one thing. You're a little bit insecure about your capabilities and your abilities. It gets proven in the pool or on the track or wherever it is. But just getting to that starting point, as they say, is a little bit scary. And then I think in all of the things that in my career that I've done, I had major insecurities about it. Like, wow, am I going to be able to pass this check ride? Am I going to be able to be a pilot? Am I going to be able to know how to do a spacewalk? Am I going to be able to do the robotic arm? I think all those things, I think there's points of insecurity. Yes, you prepare as best as you can, but then at one point in time, at least myself, I doubt myself at times.
You do that today?
Absolutely. I think we all do it. I think we all do that. Like, if you don't, then you're not really being introspective, I think.
True.
I think it's hard to think that you know everything and not have an appreciation for the rest of the world around you that might have a surprise for you.
What are you insecure about today? Like, you've accomplished so many things now.
A lot. I mean, the next steps of my life. What am I going to do in the next steps of my life? We're moved. I'm retired. We've moved. What am I going to do? I don't know. And I think I'm insecure about it, but I don't really care because it's all good. I know better now. It's all going to work out. I wish I had known that when I was a kid, because I think those insecurities take over a little bit more when you're younger, when you don't realize it's all going to work out.
It's so fascinating. Your main work is uncertainty for living. Like, that's what, you don't know what's going to happen the next moment. And you think about what's going to happen next. That's like, you're insecure about the uncertainty in your life, like what's going to happen now. But you've lived all your life just thinking about, let's live in the moment and not think about what's going to happen next.
Yes, and I think you bring up a good point. I think that is the way you deal with it. Like, let's live in the moment. Like, I think people have insecurities, of course, when they look in the future, but you can't make it. You can guide it, but you can't anticipate every little thing. So living in the moment is, I think, the best methodology.
You say a lot about that. You've made a pivot. Every time things don't work out, you made a pivot. So you wanted to become something else in the childhood. Then you applied for certain things, you didn't get in, and then you finally ended up becoming who you are today. How did you know that this is something that you don't want to give up? Because every time when it didn't work out, you just pivoted. You're like, maybe not for me, not for me, not for me. And then,
well, I like, this is another thing I think I wish I knew when I was a younger kid, that, things work out for a reason. Maybe it's because you have better qualifications in one area than another, although you think this is what you might want to do, and be ready for those extra doors to open that you didn't even anticipate. So those are things that like I said, I wish I had known then, because I think I was a little bit more, had more anticipation, maybe a little bit more nervousness about it when I was younger, versus just like sort of going with the flow, because like, let's just see what's behind the next door, because it might be something that I never even imagined and things like that. So that's why I mention this when I'm talking to kids about this younger age pivot, about trying to know what you want to do when you're 17. That seems almost ridiculous now that I look back and think about it. And I find myself asking kids too, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? How the heck do they know? It's sort of a silly question to ask them. So more should be like, what are you interested in? What kinds of things have you been exposed to, or what do you want to do something else, or can I guide you to a direction that might be something that you never even thought of? That's, I think, more appropriate questions, honestly, now that I look back at the whole thing, because how the heck do you know what you want to do when you're a kid? And I think that causes a lot of anxiety and stress with people, and you don't need to have that.
True. What got you interested in this? In space, in NASA, in the things that you do?
I wasn't really a straight shot, so it wasn't what I wanted to do when I was a kid. Even when I was a pilot, I really wasn't a helicopter pilot. It wasn't the first thing on my list. It wasn't until later that I got exposed to it. So that's why I say, like, when I was just mentioning, like, if I'm talking to a kid, like, how can I expose you to something else? Just take a look at, the space program, take a look at aviation. Those are my backgrounds, right? Take a look at diving, or, expose them to some other person, adult, that has done something different, just so they get an idea of things that are out there. Anyway, it wasn't until I met somebody who had gone to space, had gone to Johnson Space Center, and then I was like, wow, this job looks like fun. And some of those people were my friends that I had known as a test pilot. So I trusted their opinion also. So getting to know more and more people who are in the jobs that potentially you might like is a good idea. So, like, if I had not really talked to a veterinarian for when I went to the vet with my dog. So probably I should have done like some type of internship somewhere with a veterinarian to find out if I really like that. But I didn't do that.
True. So, but let's say you got interested in it, but before you enter, I'm assuming, like, before you enter a rocket, they would test you in some way, right? Maybe mentally, physically, there would be some kind of training going on.
Oh, absolutely. When you first get to become an astronaut, wherever you're going to be an astronaut, if it's at, an American astronaut at Johnson Space Center, European in Cologne, or, Japanese at JAXA, or if you're going to be Shukla and do it like an axiom flight, you're going to be tested one way or the other here or during the process to, one, become an astronaut, and then two, and you're on your journey to get trained to be ready to go. So there's testing all the way along the way. So that's sometimes intimidating, right? And going back to the insecurities a little bit, that's sort of like, wow, I've never learned how to do this before. I don't know if I know how to do a robotic, operate the robotic arm, or, get ready for a spacewalk. How am I going to learn how to do this? And, you find the mentors, the people who have done it before, same time, all the way back. It's full circle. Like, it's like having, talking to a kid about something that they might want to do, and find out as much as you can and learn as much as you can, and study and figure it all out. And actually, if you have to, studying means also, like for spacewalks, work out, right? Because it's physically demanding. So you know what you need to do, the background for each of those things, and do the best that you can.
Is there any psychological screening that you go through?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some testing, like just on paper testing.
Okay.
I'm not really sure what all that indicates, but there is some of that. Maybe it's just to annoy you because you have to take do a lot of written tests. I don't know what it's for exactly. But then there's parts where we are looking at astronauts together as they're getting interviewed, giving them a problem that's very hard to solve and seeing how they do that. And that's not just like a paper problem, like like take this table and move it over this bridge and around this water and put it there and put people in groups and see who naturally falls out as a leader, who naturally, adds to the team. So we want to make sure we have team players because none of this is done by ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we also do along the path when you're getting trained during the time that you're waiting. We go to National Outdoor Leadership School. So you learn a little bit about yourself as well as other people because it's taking you away out of the scenario to some place. Maybe you're backpacking, maybe you're doing rafting or something where you're in an uncomfortable situation. You're not sleeping in your own bed. You're sleeping in a tent. You're making your own food. You're going to the bathroom in weird places, getting you sort of ready for working as a team and then finding out where your hot spots are, where your points are that make you uncomfortable. I like organizing, my stuff. Everybody has their little nest whenever they have the things that they have.